Hello, and we are live again with my wonderful Learn and Grow Snappy Chat. I'm so happy to be here. I'm Christine Bell, and this is all about learning and growing together in business. Because guess what? I think most of us know if you've been in business for a while, whether on your own or with a few other people, it can get a little bit lonely. But often we have the same challenges, so why not learn and grow together? And with this in mind, I have my wonderful friend and fantastic person in life in terms of everything she does, Mel Driver. She is a multipreneur. She does fantastic skincare, but she's also an expert in e-com. But I'm going to let you talk more about you, Mel, and tell us all about what you do.
Yeah, thanks, Christine, and thanks so much for having me. What do I not do? It's probably easier to list those things because I've been doing a bit. So, as you mentioned before, I've got my own skincare range. It's something that I've been doing now for over 12 years. And over the entire time, obviously, I've accumulated a lot of skills, knowledge, and expertise that I'm very passionate about passing on. So, basically, I specify or specialize in supporting e-commerce business owners to help them grow their business and hopefully one day reach the goal of being fully self-employed as well. Also a little bit of a tech nerd at heart. So I do like I like building websites. So I specialize again in Shopify for e-commerce. Also do the tech setup, connecting the email software, predominantly Klaviyo, again, because that is very e-commerce driven and focused. And then I'm also working as an e-commerce or e-com coach, but I think I already touched on that, didn't I?
Well, you do so much, and I know you are so great at also literally running businesses for other people, besides the fact that you obviously do your e-commerce. And let's not forget your skincare, because how many awards do you have for your skincare now? Is it like 50?
45, close to 50.
It's amazing. And I obviously use your product and I absolutely love it. So I love that too. And e-commerce is not something I'm obviously in, but there's a lot of people out there who need to sell online and learn how to do it in a way where they can reach the right customers, right? So I know you can help with that. I just want to say hello from Roy, says, yay, Snappy Chat, and great to meet you, Mel. So thank you for tuning in. Royce is going to be on next week. He's great at podcasting. He used to be a radio host in America, so he's great at everything podcasting and marketing as well. But back to you, Mel. So many things in the fire, yeah. And one thing I will say, and this might not be what we're talking about, is that I have found, often when we start a business, you want to work for yourself. You may have to have your fingers in more than one pot for a little while, at least in terms of working out how to make enough money until you build enough of an audience for each of your businesses, right?
Yeah, yes, it can be quite a bit.
So in terms of the challenge you faced in terms of, I know obviously there's challenges in the skincare, but let's talk about your e-commerce. What's the challenges you have faced or you see others facing in terms of building a lucrative business? Because I know people who wants to sell their art and their coloring books and everything on, I think they're trying Amazon or Shopify as well. So it's a big business.
Yes. So there's actually a couple of challenges. So one is quite localized. I'm based in Tasmania, and I find quite a lot of businesses in this area, especially the product-based business, that I don't know, it's probably not so much when I say they don't have the right mindset, but they seem to be very okay with, I'm just selling my products on Facebook Marketplace and via social media, and people just message me. So they're quite happy with that. And for me, as someone who is a total perfectionist, who's always had the big picture in mind, for me, like I struggle to understand that a little bit. So it's quite difficult to actually teach a Tasmanian the importance of, having a proper e-commerce business, a website, and so forth. So that is as one, but then also bringing that across Australia. There is quite a few business owners that and I completely understand that they want to DIY because the budget is very limited, especially when you're first starting. But DIY you can see it a lot. So I have the three don'ts when it comes to DIYing. So one is branding. which I'm pretty sure you can agree to. The other thing is a website, and then the last thing is product photography. Just because we have the latest iPhone or whatever phone or camera doesn't mean that we are product photographers. Just because we know how to move a few elements around on a website doesn't mean we are a website designer. And just because we know how to use Canva doesn't mean we are a brand expert and know how to create a logo, because there's just so much more psychology behind everything, basically. And as you know, we work together. We've like literally after a brand strategy session or more, I have working with you, I've realized how everything comes together. So basically, after we work together, like this entire document that we've put together is the basis for everything. It goes down into, obviously the color choices for the branding, the photo, product photography and things like that, the color scheme, what products to develop next so that they are really in line with your ideal customer and things like that. And there are just so many different elements and the psychology behind it that is so connected and important to have this from the get-go. And a lot of people say, done is better than perfect, which completely gets under my skin. Because as I mentioned before, I'm a complete perfectionist, and if it's not perfect, it's not going out. And yeah, so coming back to the question on the challenge, it is quite difficult to tell people about the importance of those things, because they just think you just want them to spend money on your services. And yeah, so that's basically the challenge.
Which comes into the sales that people are like, but you're so right. And sometimes I think we don't know what we don't know, right? Until we are there and we try things out and then we go, why is it not working? And then it's usually when I see people, it's when they're like business owners, when they're like, well, I think this is not working. Usually it's like they think there's a little part that's not working. But like you said, it's actually everything works together. Like the big brand strategy, which sounds big and enormous, actually it's about clarifying everything so everything comes together and you have a cohesive, consistent image that comes across everything, whether that's your website, your product, pictures, etc. I just want to say hello to Musi, and also Michael are here as well. We're great to have you. Michael's amazing. He was on as well. Recently, he actually has a new product in Canada and the world, which you might be able to help him with Shopify. I don't know if he wants to be on Shopify, by the way. But in terms, this is not Michael, but in terms of hearing aids that sits on the bones, and it actually is fantastic because he sells it through retail rather than the medical. So it's allowed for a lot more people who have hearing problems or even visual issues. It allows them, it sits on the bones. So it's a really great product, and he is selling it worldwide. So you guys should talk about that in terms of how to use Shopify if he's interested. But yes, in terms of building businesses, absolutely. I think most of us, including me, is like, when you start on your own, suddenly you have to DIY it. You don't have the money always. And it's not that you don't necessarily want to spend. Sometimes we don't, because we don't understand why we need it. But it's also sometimes we just don't have it. But we have to, I think there's something you're saying that you do really want to spend some money here, rather, to prioritize where you spend money and where you invest in your business, because you do have to invest in it, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. And the way I try to explain it, so first of all, basically you're spending the money once, like you're spending the money on your product photography, on your branding and on your website. And then if all done correctly, it should be bringing in the money or bringing the money back. I find DIYing, you spend a lot more money and little bits and pieces trying to piece it all together and trying to build it all bring it all together. In most cases, you're actually wasting more money because you're missing out on the sales. If you have a website that's fully optimized for conversions and you've got your email marketing set up properly, the email marketing in itself will be making you money when you're sleeping. And then one of the other things that I've been seeing is people, the DIYers in particular, they're asking for a lot of advice in different groups. And sometimes you see up to 100 different comments and everyone tells you something different and you're just getting pulled in different directions. It's like, first of all, you're going to get really overwhelmed. And second of all, you don't even know if you're getting the right advice that is specific to your own business.
So true. So true. And I think most of us to some extent can resonate with it, right? Because we all tried it a little bit going, I just don't have the money, but I want to get going, right? Or I don't realize I need it. And I'm just going to fix this little part over here. I'm just going to, maybe if I just do a little bit with the communication here, or just do a little bit like this, or I just send out this message now. And then we usually don't have enough time to test it either because, results don't necessarily happen overnight. It's a long-term investment by getting that website right, getting that email sequence right, getting that, and then it's again and again and again, right? In terms of really building. I just want to say hello to Randy, and also Muzi has quite a few questions. I will get back to them for you shortly.
Yeah. And then the other thing I saw, based on what we just spoke about, I just saw a post on Facebook in one of the groups the other day, and she was telling that she's got fantastic products. She's got a website, but she's not getting the sales. So she's basically asking, in a group of 180,000 people, what is your favorite, your best marketing tactic to get the sales? So I had to jump in and I said, it is not just about having the best marketing campaign. Are you getting the traffic to your website? If you are, is that traffic converting? Is the traffic not converting? Have you got email marketing set up? So there's a lot of numbers that you would have to look at before you can actually answer that question. And that's basically going back to getting generic advice, again, for free, because you don't want to spend the money on an expert to help you specifically with your unique business needs.
Yeah, so hard. And in terms of you building your e-commerce background and your offer there, how did you go about it as well? Because obviously you kind of have to prove that it's working first, don't you? In some ways, when in terms of how it's worked for you, I imagine perhaps.
Yes, so it's really funny. I started to build websites when I was still full employed with someone else. I was building websites for people I knew, worked with, for family members and things like that. And my husband always said to me, you're so skilled, you should be doing this, working for yourself. And that was he said that probably 8 years ago to me. And at that point in time, I didn't realize my self-worth, if you want to put it like that. So it's taken quite a lot more years after he said that to me that I actually did go out on my own. And I actually started as a virtual assistant, specializing in supporting e-commerce business owners. And I was basically doing everything for e-commerce business owners to help them run their business, get their sales and stuff like that. I was also doing the tech side of things. And at one point I started to realize that I'm actually not enjoying the doing everything for everyone kind of thing. And I was starting to realize how good I was actually to help people build and grow their business. So I moved away from the VA side of things and am now specializing as an e-commerce coach, predominantly for the sort of newish, smaller business owners to bring them to consistent sales. So I'm not really supporting business owners who are already at 5 to 10 K a month consistently. I'm basically focusing on supporting those who have no idea where their sales are coming from, have no understanding of their numbers, are still working for someone else, but have this deep desire to be their own boss. And so that's basically how it came about.
I love that, because that means you're really helping empower people to go out on their own and build a business they're passionate about, product businesses. I imagine, because it's e-commerce, and helping them get started, which is amazing, because a lot of people have a dream but don't know what to do with it and how to execute it, right? And they don't even know where to go for help. So I just want to put some questions to you. Musi has some questions for you. So what is the best site hold on, we'll just have Michael first and I'll come back. Michael's saying, I couldn't agree more. Success has so many layers. I've had great in-person results and now I'm focused on building global reach online. With my ADHD, I tend to choose perfection in everything: marketing, photography, podcast, and social media. I've already checked off key steps towards that goal. My product reaches multiple markets with an affordable hearing solution. Now it's just about getting the message out through TV, podcasts, magazines. I'm using Shopify. I got a lot of traffic, so that's good news. You guys should talk, because he's amazing what he's doing as well. And I love what you're doing, Michael, as well. And it's so true. We can build it. We also got to build the e-commerce, and then we also got to get people to know about us. Yeah, we also got to build our awareness and our PR and everything else. Back to Musi. Here's questions for you, Mel. What is the best site to use? What and how do you come across products to sell? Who and what is the best payment processes to use? Any general tips? I'm decided to embark on a similar journey. So there you go. You guys should talk too, Musi.
Amazing question. So the best platform to use for e-commerce is Shopify, because it is built for e-commerce. Unlike your other platforms like WordPress or Squarespace. So Squarespace is more like a service-based website, and WordPress was actually originally built just for bloggers. So whilst there are the WooCommerce, e-commerce kind of elements, it's very high maintenance, high cost to keep that working, functioning on a regular basis. So in most cases, you'll have to hire someone to do the constant updates that are required when it comes to WordPress. So hands down, Shopify, super easy to use, never any problems. And then the next question, so how do you come across products to sell? So in your case, I imagine you're looking for a dropship business. It really depends. My advice would be to have a look if there's a gap in the market that you can fill. Are there specific products people are always asking for and not as readily available? So that would be your key point. Look at what you are actually passionate about, because you want to be passionate about selling your products. And trust me, people will notice if you're not passionate about selling products. So you kind of, because you're going to be the face of the business, and you don't want to sell sandals that you wouldn't wear yourself, as an example. And then there's different apps that you can use to connect to your Shopify store for drop shipping and things like that. And the best payment processor to use, that is if you do go with Shopify, that's all built in to take care of everything. Additionally to the Shopify payments, you can also add PayPal, which is something that I highly recommend. A lot of people do still like to use PayPal, and it's got a few other options, like you can install Afterpay or Klarna or ZipPay or anything like that. However, that then would come down to the products you're selling. If you're selling $1,000 worth of products, or if you're selling smaller products, who your ideal customer is. If you are working towards the high income range, I don't think anyone in the high income range would be using Afterpay to checkout. So again, this one comes then back down to the brand strategy, working that all out.
Yeah, so many things to think about. Some of it is big brand stuff, and some of it is very specifics and very, should I use this or that, right? There's so many decisions to make in terms of getting it right. What would you say is, when you first started out yourself in terms of using Shopify yourself for your own business, what were some of the common mistakes you made that many people will be making that we just don't know? We think we got it right, we're spending money, and we might still make some mistakes.
I actually, funny thing is, I actually started with WordPress, and I was a WordPress, I was a WordPress, WordPress everything. I would never use anything else. But then I actually went to spend about $3,000 to $4,000. I can't remember what it was. It's definitely 7 years or 8 years ago by now. I had a complete website built on WordPress, and then I had all these issues with having to constantly update it, having to hire someone on a monthly basis to do the updates and make sure the website doesn't crash and things like that. And I started to realize that I was spending more money and more time fixing this stupid website rather than spending time and money on marketing strategies and things like that to actually get the customers. So then a year, just not even a year after I invested all this money on a brand new WordPress website, I'm like, I'm over it. I'm moving to Shopify. And trust me, it was the best decision I've ever made. Only regret is that I didn't do it years earlier.
Okay. And that's specifically for products, or would you recommend that for anything like people who sell services?
Well, for services, it's a little bit different because, well, I mean, with WordPress, regardless of what your business is about, with WordPress, you still need to constantly update WordPress, and you constantly need to update any plugins that come with it. For me, I'm over it. And like, I used to love WordPress, don't get me wrong. I'm now focused on the simple, quick, effective, most hands-off for me. I actually, for service-based business owners, I actually only recommend Squarespace because no issues with updates, super easy to use. You can get up and running very quickly. So that's basically what I recommend these days.
That's good to know, because I have an old website on WordPress, and you're absolutely right. I'm at the point where I'm like, I can't be asked to deal with it because I need a new one. Yeah. It's like, gosh. But you said something else. We also need to marketing. One thing is we can have a fantastic website, etc. But we need to, most of us need to market ourselves to make sure people actually see our website, because there's a sea of things out there, right? Like, we're all overwhelmed by everything that is of choice, and how much information we see every day. So how do we go about marketing and getting people specifically to our website, I guess?
Well, it's a lot of work. So it's not like my husband used to say, build it and they will come. It definitely doesn't work like that.
No, it sounds great, but no.
Wouldn't that be lovely? So there's a few different strategies, and they all involve quite a bit of work or money. The easiest and quickest is if you can afford Facebook, Instagram, or Meta ads, I should say, or Google ads to drive the traffic to your website. But then there's also some other options. Obviously, just your organic social media. So post on social media regularly, share your links, encourage people from social media to visit your website. Then you can also look at working with other business owners in a complementary area. So, for example, if you have bedding, you might want to partner up with a furniture business, or if you have, I don't know, skincare, and you could team up with the yoga business and things like that. So basically what you would do with the collaboration, you're sharing someone else's business in front of your audience, and they doing this vice versa. So basically you get in front of a new audience. You can also use it to build your email list, which is also quite important. So that's basically the main things that I would suggest to drive traffic. Or then influencer marketing.
I was just about to say, what about influencers?
Yeah, same.
But they usually cost quite a bit, those influencers, don't they?
It actually depends. I mean, we're not talking about your Kim Kardashian or anything like that, but if you were to work with 5 to 10 micro influencers who may be just starting out but have a suitable audience, they might be happy to just do gifted to work on their portfolio. You just have to make sure that they're not part of engagement pots to boost their engagement, and then you see the same people comment very generic comments. So that's why I'm a little bit sus.
And definitely those engagement pots are happening everywhere. Now, you did mention Facebook, Meta, Instagram and stuff. Have you found that the algorithm, this is just me personally, I found that the algorithm, I feel like I'm talking to myself on there. I've kind of given up on those right now. It's like, does anyone see anything? LinkedIn is moving that direction too, by the way, but especially those two. What about TikTok as well? I'm adding that in. Extra questions for you.
Yeah, good question, actually. I personally, I also feel like I'm talking to myself on social media. The way I see it now is it's just to have a presence on a platform. Just to be like, I'm using a tool called SmarterQ to auto post and recycle my posts. I can't even.
And you're just on there a lot. It's just, how many do you do a day? I know you're on there a lot for your.
About 3 to 5 posts a day. It's all automated. It actually allows you to import posts you shared 10 years ago, and you can go in, edit the caption, edit the image, and then recycle them and then go into the queue, and it's literally on autopilot. Like I don't really do much there at all. So I just use it to
Make
have
it
a
easy
presence
for
there.
yourself, right? Yeah, make it easy.
Mm.
Just be so people can see you. What about TikTok? Have you been doing TikTok?
I have, but I don't know. I don't like seeing the silly dance videos. So people make themselves look like clowns. So
Yeah,
you
I haven't
can
been
give it
on
a
there
try.
much. I signed up and never went on there, so that's as far as I got. But it doesn't really fit
Yeah,
for my business anyway. So I think it's also about fit, right, in terms of what fits businesses. Michael's saying here before we finish up,
exactly.
I have Squarespace for my website and Shopify for my sales. They're linked together because Squarespace is easy to build the website. Should I build my Shopify website too so it's viable and have two separate links and take advantage of both platforms? My traffic slowed
Now,
down in the last 2 weeks. You can read it? Yeah.
yeah, I can. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt there. No, I would definitely suggest to only have one website, because having two websites means you have two monthly plans and costs. It also requires you to basically drive double the traffic. So basically, you're diluting yourself by having the two websites. So you can build your entire completely finish building your entire website on Shopify, Michael, and then just go with Shopify and get rid of Squarespace, especially if you're
Because
having
we don't want to
e-commerce.
accidentally, what do you call it, when you are eating yourself, you're accidentally cannibalizing yourself, right?
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, and it makes it even harder with having two websites. Like which SEO, which keywords are you using on what side? Would they like? I think it would be best if it was all combined, and then you can just focus your efforts on this one website to drive the traffic, to do the SEO, email marketing, and whatnot.
Sounds good. Excellent. Now we're finishing up. Like before we finish, because you got a wealth of insights and knowledge in across products, across websites, across marketing. How can people reach out to you? How can you help? We got anything, events, or anything coming up that you want to share? How can they get to know you?
You can you can reach me on LinkedIn, on Facebook, or on Instagram. So it's Mel Driver and Co. And I also offer a coffee chat, so we can jump on a Zoom call for 20 minutes if you're not sure what you might need help with and things like that. And I've also got a group coaching program coming up in early February. So it's a 3-month program specifically for e-commerce business owners. And whilst it is a group coaching program, we're deep diving right into your own needs. And then we start with a one-on-one Zoom session to have a look at literally everything in your business. And then we come up with a bit of a plan, what we'll be working on over the next 3 months together. Then we have weekly Q&A group sessions on Zoom. And we also have a monthly one-on-one call. So it will be extremely targeted at your own specific business needs. And it's all focused on moving the needle in the right way in your business. So I'll share the link to the waitlist when the Snappy Chat is shared.
Yeah, all good. Sounds fantastic what you're doing. And I will say, if you don't know Mel, you are definitely a perfectionist, but that's a good thing, because that means that even with the work with you in a group thing, you're not going to let them leave your program without making sure it's perfect, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Thank you. Randy says, thank you for another great chat. Thank you so much for being here. Michael says, thanks. I will message you. That will be you, Mel, and ask more questions. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate you, and great to have you on and teach me something new, because I know nothing about Shopify. So thank you so much. And thank you for everyone being here.
Thank you.